I'm a Mac Jones guy, and that's no big secret. But Breech, let me ask you this: as someone who has seen the quarterbacks occasionally turnstile their way through Cincinnati when it's not Joe Burrow or Carson Palmer or certainly Andy Dalton, what does it say to you when your second-year quarterback is getting, if not booed, hearing the backup's name in a home game in Week 7 after missing 2 weeks, when the backup is clearly not the long-term answer? I just don't. If you're a Patriots fan, I mean, you can do what you want. You're paying $150 for tickets. You can throw tomatoes if you are able to smoke them to the stadium. But does it serve your best interest, short term or long term, to chant Bailey Zappi when my guy McCorkle's out there coming back?
I mean, the boos probably were a little bit much, but if I just watch my team the past 2 weeks and the offense is clicking on all cylinders with Bailey Zappi and they're destroying teams, they are scoring points. I mean, you look at those past 2 games when they put up 29 points against the Lions, they put up 38 points against the Browns. Then McCorkle Jones goes out there and goes punt, interception. There's going to be frustration that, hey, why is he out there? I think admittedly reports said that he was maybe 90% going into the game. Why put him out there 90%? Let Bailey Zappi go until either Jones is 100% or until Bailey Zappi is a 5-interception game. You have an excuse to bench him. I thought that this is one of those times.
Or you let Bailey Zappi do what Mac did at the beginning of the game. You're like, all right, Mac, we need you to suit up and jump in there. Like the way that this happened, it now creates a controversy of sorts in the locker room.
You know what's awesome is that Lisa Salters reported at halftime that Bill Belichick told her, listen, definitely Mac Jones is going back in there. And I'm thinking there's a 0% chance Mac Jones is going into this game. And that includes after 2 Bailey Zappi interceptions. Of course, Dave Andrews, the center got knocked out on one of them on the blindside block. I didn't know you could get ejected for a blindside block, but Mike Pennell found out that you could. I guess we found out together. But I don't think there's a quarterback controversy. I think, Breech, to your point, Mac probably was 100% healthy, and maybe he pushed to play. Mike Flory reported that even though Belichick had listed Mac as doubtful and questionable during the week, that Mac had taken 90 to 95% of the reps, which indicated that he'll probably play. He looked mobile on an early run, but I don't know. That certainly didn't seem to matter when it came to throwing the football because he was making bad decisions.
I don't think it matters that Mac Jones pushed to play. You know, this isn't like Russell Wilson, Nathaniel Hackett, where you can like bully your coach into doing what you want to do. This is Bill Belichick. He's going to play the guy who he thinks gives him the best shot to win. And honestly, just felt like he got too cute with the quarterback stuff. He outsmarted himself and said, you know what, we're going to put Mac Jones out there. The decision backfired because they couldn't have got off to a more disastrous start. And it just went downhill from there. And, you know, Zappi came in and gave him that little spark, but they did nothing in the second half. 0 points, under 100 total yards. It was just a nightmare. And like you guys just said, in the second quarter, it was like, there's no QB controversy because Bailey Zappi is going to be the starter going forward. But after that second half, it's like, okay, maybe there is a QB controversy. What do we do now?
By the way, our buddy Joe Musso, Bears fan, is literally on air, but also in the comments. We in here. There it is.
Musa, are you on HQ and in the chat comments? I'm a maniac. I love it.
Takes every chance to dunk on Brinson.
Very, very interesting and very rare case of a situation where someone comes into New England and scores the final points of the first half and the final points, or the first points, of the second half. Like that's a bit was Belichick and Tom Brady's thing forever. Belichick thought it's always important to get the ball first and then, you know, to be able to go out and their score. And the Bears, they turned it over. Like, I mean, Bailey Zappi had 3 turnovers, not all his fault, but the passes was getting tipped left and right. I mean,
they were his fault. Who else's fault were they?
Well, I'm not saying they're not like, it's not like he threw directly into a defender half the time. Sometimes they got tipped to the line of scrimmage. Okay. That's not, but that doesn't mean they're like good passes, just that it's not.
No, they were bad passes.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this before we talk about the Bears, because we do this all the time. Let's talk about the good team. But quickly, who's the quarterback next week for the Patriots?
I think Mac is the starter when he's healthy.
Breech?
If we're saying next week, though, is Mac Jones healthy next week? I'll say Zappi. I'll go out and say Zappi. I just think that he provides a spark. I'll go Zappi.
Does he? I mean,
they scored 14 points and it was all Bailey Zappi.
Well, but that touchdown, I mean, it was wide ass open. I mean, Breech, again, with your 40-yard arm, you could make that throw easily.
But also, it's like you can't be like, they scored all their points with Bailey Zappi. He's the only guy who played in the second half that didn't score a single point. Like, I mean,
he didn't look great.
I didn't. I mean, he was 10. You can see it on the screen. 14 points in his first 2 drives, 4 of 4, 97 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 turnovers, and is like a wheel route to Ramondre Stevenson where he's wide open. They schemed open. I'm trying to think. It's Jacoby Myers who caught the touchdown.
It was a terrible pass. He made a fantastic catch.
But you can say that, but Mac Jones literally only led them to 3 first downs.
They pulled
0 first downs in the first 2 possessions.
Belichick couldn't handle the Mac Jones heat.
How are you arguing like for Bailey Zappe based on what we saw in the second half?
No, I am saying, you asked me who's going to start next week. I said next week I would start Bailey Zappe, and then I would go into the bye and say, all right, or I guess you have 2 weeks till the bye, but I probably start Zappe against the Jets.
Brian J called the Bailey Zappe touchdown pass to Jacoby Myers. The Mike Evans' passes, which is pretty funny. Let's talk about the team that actually won.
Worth noting. This is Troy Aikman, who called the game and obviously spent time with the Patriots. Because of the way it went, there's no question that Mac Jones is their quarterback and he'll be starting next week in a very tough game against the Jets, would be my guess. But Mac Jones is their guy, speaking to Scott Van Pelt on SportsCenter after the game from the booth in Foxborough. Now, of course, Troy Aikman could be wrong. But that's just the deal.
But also, so does that mean they're going to go the rest of the season with, if Mac Jones goes out there and puts up a goose egg in the first quarter, they're going to bench him and put Bailey Zappe in? Like, is that going to be their strategy going forward?
Do you think
play 2 quarterbacks?
All right, 10 seconds, and let's move on to it. But do you think it was because he wasn't 100%? That's why they pulled him?
My theory is that, and this I could be wrong, but again, this is what I think. I think that Belichick was planning to go with Bailey Zappe. Mac is his guy. Mac busted his ass to try and get ready. He worked, he worked hard in practice. He wanted to show that he could go in and start. And Belichick's like, look, I'll let you start if you can prove that you're ready to start. But if you're out there and you don't look 100% and your ankle is bothering you, I'm going to pull you and you're going to have a quick leash. And I think that's what a quick hook. And that's what he did after that interception. Basically, like, he can't let
that's one of your better theories.
Look that bad? I mean, he rushed for 24 yards on 3 carries.
The interception wasn't great.
No, right, but
he had that because for first down.
Right, but were his struggles because of his ankle? He looked fine running the ball. He threw the interception while leading his best drive. Are you attributing it to the ankle? Is what I'm saying.
I think that Belichick told Mac, here's how it's going to go. If I see you struggle, you're not going to stay out there. Was it was it a right ankle sprain or a left ankle sprain?
It's the left.
I mean, look, it's also a little different too. I mean, I'm like running with that ankle sprain versus standing in the pocket and having to drive on it. You know what I mean?